Hey guys, so today's video is about an adoption scam on the internet. I'm trying to be as gentle as possible during this video. I'm trying to be understanding and compassionate, so I will try to be all of those things. But you let me know what you guys think, subscribe to the bell icon for engagement, and I'll see you in this video. I don't know why I was like doing an ending. I got distracted with messages. I'm gonna mute those. So today we're talking about Della vlogs, which is Bella and Dallin, who are married. They're a Mormon couple. They have like a couples channel where they do those like cringy pranks that no one believes and like weird like exploiting their own relationship views. And I'm assuming they want to be a future family channel. That's the kind of content pipeline they're on. They have tried for babies for a while and sadly they're not successful with that. And they've actually had 3 rounds of IVF that didn't work. So that's obviously not great if you actually want, you know, a baby. Obviously feel bad for them. Now onto a bit of background that I found. Bella's mum and Bella are co-owners of an MLM. I don't have to talk to you guys about MLMs. If you know, you know. Multi-level marketing, also commonly known as a pyramid scheme, because some MLMs have actually been legally found to be pyramid schemes, which are illegal and exploitative and make a lot of people lose a bunch of money. There are many videos on the internet about that, documentaries about people that have gone bankrupt because they joined an MLM because it was an easy way to make friends and make money, and they were dragged into this like dream lifestyle that never happened. It's called Origami Owl. Bella's mum also is a criminal. Allegedly. There's an article about it. There's a quote from the article. So Christian Weems, the friend of Susan Brock, the soon-to-be former wife of Maricopa County Supervisor Fulton Brock, who pled guilty to charges that she tried to hide evidence of the sexual relationship Brock was having with a teenage boy, was sentenced to probation this morning. So, yeah, she hid evidence that a man was having a relationship with a teenage boy. And she hid the evidence. There were some emails that she like deleted. And it's happened back in 2011, and Della vlogs, Bella and Dallin, have never addressed this, but it's in the open, but she's never addressed it. So that makes me feel icky, but besides the point, let's get into the adoption quickly. Like I said, they have been trying for a baby for a while, and they have had the IVF not work 3 times. So that's obviously 1, expensive, 2, super stressful, 3, demoralizing, like demotivating. It makes you feel like there's no hope for having a child. And a lot of people after this reach the point of wanting to pursue an adoption, which is just the pipeline of, you know, some people just like accept the fact that they're not going to have children. Some people will adopt, some people will foster, some people, you know, many different options. And they posted a video announcing that they're going to be adopting, and they were sitting in like a ready-made nursery room in their house. So I think a lot of people watching the video were like, oh, they must have already like figured out an adoption, because why would you put this out on the internet without having that like concrete situation? So I assumed watching the video that they had already like gone through an agency and it's like in legal writing now that this baby is ours. Like that's what I thought, because why would you have a nursery room? Why would you post a video saying you're adopting? Like I just thought it meant like they're already going through with it and now they're just letting you guys know. They're catching you guys up to speed. No. At the end, there is like a call out to their audience for potential pregnant women who want to go through with like giving up their child for adoption, like calling out to their audience. I thought that was ridiculous. I've never seen that happen before. I've never seen someone use their audience to look for a child to adopt. I've never seen that before. That was like wild to me. And someone actually DM'd them saying that they're having twins and that they want to go through with an adoption, and they both just kind of agreed on that. So like I said, so by both I mean the mum of the twins and the Della vlogs. They agreed on an adoption, but no papers were signed. They never went through an agency, because whenever they try to go through an agency, the woman will try to avoid it by saying she has some like trauma, that she doesn't like being touched and she doesn't like being, you know, examined, and she was really pushing off the agency situation. And because she said that the pregnancy was caused due to an unconsensual situation, they didn't feel like it was right to push her on that, because clearly, you know, she was saying this is a traumatic thing for me. I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be examined. Whereas if she went to an agency, they would need to do the necessary checks, take her to the doctors, etc. So they didn't want to push it. I, in that situation, would just back out. I'd be like, look, all power to you. I hope you find someone that wants to adopt your babies, but we just want a more concrete situation. We've, you know, gone through IVF multiple times. Like it has not worked out so many times that we want something that feels a little bit more concrete. But they went through with it. She was sending them pictures of her belly, scans like of the kid, saying, you know, giving updates, saying, oh, we're doing testing for this, we're doing testing for that, like, you know, so many different things. She also allegedly asked them to have a gender reveal party. They were having 2 identical twin girls, and she asked them to have a gender reveal party, but she wasn't at the party. So I don't know, maybe it was for them But then if it was for them, they would have just done it themselves. But she told them to have one that she then didn't attend. And apparently they did attend a few things with her. Like they went to like a baby related like a class with her, and she looked pregnant, but allegedly she was wearing like a fake bump, which I know that it's weird, maybe because she does say that she's uncomfortable with being touched, but I just always assume that like if someone is pregnant and you've already agreed on an adoption and you guys meet up, maybe, you know, they would show you the bump. And like if it was kind of a non-traumatic situation, maybe they would be like, hey, look at the bump, like this is, you know, I don't know, I just feel like it would be less of a secret. But what do I know about adoption? I've never gone through one. So then it becomes really wild to me. It's already wild, but it became more wild. So her mum allegedly messages them and tells, because they went to Disney while she's pregnant, not with her. They just went to Disney. Her mum goes and messages them and tells them to take her to Disney because it would be a great memory for her and like a bonding experience. But also in that same message thread tells them that she's done with her, that she's kicking her out, that she doesn't want to be with, like, she doesn't want to associate herself with her anymore. I'm so confused. I'm literally, my brain is like, whoa. So the mum is saying like, I'm cutting her off because she's a mess, she's not listening to me, yada yada, but also take her to Disney because it would mean a lot to her. But also this pregnancy is due to an unconsensual situation, and I told her to do this, but instead she did this, but like take her to Disney. It was just like, at that point, I would look at these messages and go like, first of all, that's not her mum messaging us. That for sure is her messaging us because she wants to go to Disney. And I just think like this is unhinged. Like I don't know how you look at like someone's mum is messaging you saying, I'm cutting this person off because they're not listening to me, but also take them to Disney. Like who, when, how would that happen? And they actually said that they are splitting this video up into 2 parts, and they left it with like a cliffhanger at the end because the video was getting too long when it's like barely over 10 minutes long, which is like typical couple/family channel behavior to like exploit the worst moments of your life for content and for views. And instead of getting AdSense from 1 video, get AdSense from 2 videos now because you've split up the content and you're forcing people to watch 2 videos instead of 1. Now I'm not saying that this is fake, but I wonder if they like suspected sooner and continued through the situation for content, or if they, giving them more benefit of the doubt, had gotten the red flags sooner but were so desperate for a baby and so just like happy that they finally found someone that would be willing to give up their babies for an adoption, that they were like ignoring all the red flags. Like almost how people say you have rose tinted glasses when you're first going into a romantic relationship and you see no red flags, you see no flaws, but then once, you know, you get into that relationship and things are taking, you know, a move on, you end up seeing more red flags and flaws, and then you have to decide if you want to stay in that relationship or not. I wonder if that was the situation with this. They were just seeing everything through rose-tinted glasses because they were hoping to end up with the babies. I don't know. Also, this feels really weird because it seems like due to their money and privilege, they're both rich due to having the YouTube channel, which I'm assuming is considered family friendly, and their CPM is really high and they get a lot of views. I'm assuming because of that, and also because Bella comes from a rich family because of the MLM stuff. I wonder if because of that and having a massive platform on the internet, they felt like they deserved to skip the queue for adoption. There is always like a long waiting list, right? There's a queue of sorts, and you can't just barge in however you want because there is usually a wait, and there's a lot of checks you have to go through, and it's always very difficult and expensive to go through all these things, which I don't think the expensive thing matters to them, but it's a long time. Sometimes, you know, an adoption can take 1 to 2 years before you actually end up officially having a child. Your choices aren't all there. You know, you might end up with a child that is a bit older, or you will have to just wait a lot longer to get the child that you want, which sounds awful to put it in that sense, but I think because they weren't able to get pregnant or go through with IVF, they wanted a baby and not a toddler or an older child. So because they wanted a baby and they wanted it fast, I think they wanted to skip the waiting and just go straight to adoption. That's why they put out that call out in their video. They didn't go through an agency on purpose because that would take ages and they would do a bunch of checks and do it the proper way. And so they ended up just basically reaching out to their audience and saying, if you guys know anyone that has babies up for adoption. Oh my God, this sounds awful. It literally sounds like treating the babies like property, but they basically wanted to skip the waiting line to get babies quicker. And the agencies for adoption are there for a reason. I'm not saying every agency is amazing or they do things the proper way, but the purpose of the agency being there is to make sure there is more of a legal binding contract between the pregnant person and the person that wants to adopt. And it creates more clarity, and it creates a situation where everyone is safe and everything is done properly. And in this situation, because there wasn't an agency involved, it led to this woman who wasn't actually pregnant. Spoiler alert, she wasn't pregnant. She was just lying, basically into scamming her. I bet they sent her a bunch of stuff, like money for treatments maybe, or money for scans or stuff like that. Maybe they sent her some presents, I don't know. I know you're not allowed to pay for stuff like that, but they probably sent her some stuff. There was also a thing about, she sent them a picture where she was wearing a bracelet that Bella gave her, so clearly she was sending gifts. And what actually ended up coming out about all of this is that she was scamming like 10 other families, and one of the families reached out to them and said, hey, she's also been like pretending that she's pregnant to us, and we were going to adopt the children that didn't exist too. So, and then they started comparing pictures. She was sending different pictures to different people. There was a fake bump, fake scans they ended up finding on a fake scan website. There's a lot going on, but I think the reason why there is a process in place is so that this doesn't happen, to safeguard both the person adopting and the person giving up their baby for adoption. There was no safeguarding here, and I'm not saying I blame them in some way, or I'm not saying this is their fault and like they are so dumb for, you know, whatever. I'm just saying you have to do the proper way so that you don't end up in a devastating situation like this where you get scammed for weeks or months into believing they're going to adopt a kid. But a lot of people are really pissed off about this because it does seem like they are exploiting a pretty sad situation in their lives and making this like weird 2-part series about it, which has a lot of views. There's over 1 million views on the first video, and it really does feel like they're kind of exploiting the situation, which makes people think that they ended up going through this for as long as they did for content. But I just don't want to believe the worst in people. So I believe that maybe they had rose-tinted glasses on and they were just going through with it, hoping for the best, ended up at the worst, and now they're just making content about it, which isn't the way I would have gone about it, but it's the way they went about it. So let me know what you guys think about all of this, how they went through the adoption, you know, how they announced it, and then how they went through with it, like I said. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about their reaction, the content, everything in the comments. Subscribe to the bell icon for engagement, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.